If you take a minute to think of all the people who might have an opinion on a film, you can quickly sort out those whose opinions would be considered more valid for a project like this. Many of these sources may be found on websites, which is why knowing how to analyze the credibility of a site and its author is key to your research. First though, let's look at what specific information you do need. The origin story of your Disney film, reviews or criticisms of all your films, historical context of all your films, and thematic information related to your films. Finding the origin story of your film is pretty straightforward and will not be done by looking at websites. No Disney film to date has ever been based on information from a website. You may be looking into our fairy tale and folktale section. It's on the first floor, and in some cases, you can even look at the juvenile section. Just make sure the fairy tale is translated directly from an original source, not made easier for younger readers. You could be looking at our mythology section. Or maybe you're looking for the actual piece of literature on which the film is based. Or a recounting of the true story. If the piece of literature is epic, such as Tarzan, or the true story is book length, such as Pocahontas, it's okay to look for a scholarly summary instead of reading the entire original source. I like our database, Encyclopedia Britannica. It gives you a nice scholarly summary. You don't have to worry about its credibility, such as on Wikipedia, and you also get an actual summary instead of something that might go on, such as on Wikipedia. Remember, a database is not a website, so this is not the kind of source I'm talking about that you're not going to use for an origin story. For reviews, context, and themes, you could use a mix of books and articles. Searching for books seems straightforward, but it's unlikely you'll find a book all about your film. It's much more likely you'll find a book about something that your film is a part of, such as a film industry or films all about real-life events. Article databases also seem more straightforward, but note that there are several databases linked on your guide that have information relating to films. So the more you need, the more you can be checking in all of these databases. You don't have to check them all, just if you need to keep looking. Once in a database, I don't recommend searching only the title of your film. If that worked for you, great. If it didn't, you'll likely need to add in more specific information, such as the company or the director, or the words that you're looking for in your themes across all three movies. If you're not already looking at the guide during this tutorial, remember it's the library homepage, course and topic guides, and then find the course. Then you will see the list of all the article databases useful to you. These books and these articles will get you sources by film critics for major publications, people in the industry, and film scholars, so that's 3 of our approved source types. Those people are also out there on websites, and that's where you need to be extra perceptive. This is a website that contains reviews that many students find. The review is well written and of a good length, but what exactly is this? It's RogerEbert.com, and we see here that Roger Ebert wrote this review, and it was published at the time the movie came out. The website tells us that he is one of the US's major film critics. If you see a website make this claim, make sure you back that up by additional sources. That can be other websites that report the same information, or back in Encyclopedia Britannica, this credible source confirms that. Now, not every credible movie critic has an entry in Encyclopedia Britannica, just the very most famous. If you find a film critic in a major paper, that's another good clue. You can use the paper's own status to back up the credibility. Often people have their own websites giving you their bio that can give you additional credibility information. For example, most of at least the first 2 pages of Frozen reviews are from more credible, bigger papers. The Telegraph, the New Yorker, the Atlantic, Variety, Empire, and from websites that you don't want to be using at all, such as Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb. IMDb is mostly a fan and agent submitted type. It's a good place to get information about how much money your film made, but as for reviews, basically a glorified blog. These are user submitted reviews. You can also probably tell right from the start that a website such as this is going to be too biased to be of much use to you in critically examining the film. Let's talk about your assignment. You're going to bring it to the session. It's going to be typed and printed. You are going to list the 3 films that you're using and their countries of origin. And then you yourself are going to find 3 sources, and you're going to tell me the citation. You need to tell me what this source is providing for you, and that's simply the 4 categories. And then I want you to tell me why the source is credible. Again, to see this video again or to review any of the sources that you can use, you can come to the guide. You will also see on the guide how to contact me. You can contact me by email or in person or whatever you prefer.